How's it going, everyone? Today in stats class, we're going to take a look at some basic probability rules, and we're going to do this with some basketball. So, are you ready for some basketball? Let's get going and take a look at what we have over there. Ferreira thinks he is a pretty good free throw shooter. How many free throws would you like to see Mr. Ferreira shoot before you can be confident about guessing his free throw percentage? We will watch Mr. Ferreira shoot free throws, and then when you're confident to make a guess at his free throw percentage. Now, a couple of lies here. Number one, I'm shooting this in the middle of the pandemic, so there's no going out and shooting free throws for me. And number two, the person who is going to be shooting this is going to be, let's just take a look at the video, Nick Edson. And I guess the next thing is I'm just going to do as many free throws as he does. Of course, you can stop whatever you like, but I'm just going to keep on going and seeing, well, what happens. And we'll stop every 5 or 10. So let's get started with Nick Edson. We'll look at his first 5 free throws.
It's like 56 degrees here in Massachusetts today, which is extremely hot for us, so I got to utilize it.
I think he said it's 62 degrees and it's extremely hot.
What up, y'all? Nick Edson here. In this video, I'm going to shoot 100 free throws right now. It's very windy. It's not very windy, but it's pretty windy. Outside, dusty ball. Haven't prepared for this at all. Just going to shoot 100 free throws. Count them down here. Enjoy.
I got 1, 2, 3, misses 4, and he makes number 5. Okay, so let's get to our chart here and we'll fill it out. Result, make or miss. Let's use a plus sign for a make, or let's use an O for a make. He made the first one, second one, third one. He missed the fourth one, and he made the last one. So that is proportion of makes. This is 100%. Still 100%. He made 2 of 2. 3 of 2 is 100%. And 3 of 4 is 75%. And then 4 of 5 is 80%. Okay. So do you think you know his free throw percentage? Maybe, maybe not. I think most of you would say, I think I want to see him shoot more free throws. So let's watch him shoot 10 more free throws, and we'll see what happens here. And I didn't get to pause the video in the right place, but as you can see, I've charted his first 10 free throws, and after 10, he made 8, so he's 8 out of 10. He's at 80% now. This is his free throw percentage as a line graph, and notice how we started at 100%, we dip down, we come back up, we dip down a little bit more, and then we come back up, and now we're at 80%. So it looks pretty good. It looks like we got Nick at 80%, and I think we were already at 15. Let's see, where are we with this? Oh, I rewound just a little bit, so we'll get to, nope, there's our 15. Where was he at 15? Well, according to my chart, he missed a bunch of them here, and his free throw percentage dropped down to 9 of 15, which is 60%. So 60% right now, 100, 100, 75, 80%, 80%, down to 60%. I don't know. I don't feel very confident. His percentage seems to be fluctuating a lot here in these first 15 shots. Let's look at the next 5. Maybe that'll convince me. Let's look at the next 5. 12 of 19. All right, 13 of 20 is where he's at right now. So 13 of 20. Let's put 13 over here. So 13 of 20 is what? 5 times 13 is 75%? No, 65%. And of course, you know I already made the chart here of 20. So here, 20, 65%. Notice how the fluctuation happens here. And then there's a little bit of a micro fluctuation going on here. So as I'm looking at this chart, it looks like his free throw percentage seems to be, and I think the word that we generally use is, the percentage is settling down. Okay, it's settling right about where we are now, which is at 65%. So do you feel confident? Is his free throw percentage 65%? I don't know. The next stop for us is at 30, so let's keep watching till 30. All right, he is 20 for 30. 20 for 30. That is 66%. Let's see how that looks on the chart. 20 for 30. And yeah, big fluctuations here at the beginning, smaller fluctuations, and the fluctuations seem to be getting smaller and smaller. We are right around here at what, 66.7%? Do you think things will change? I don't know. Let's get all the way to 40, and I'm going to fast forward the video a little bit here to get us to 40. Okay, 39, and there we go. 25 for 40. And we'll chart that again, 25 out of 40. I don't even remember what percentage that is. But if I go to my chart, 25 for 40 looks like 62.5%, 62.5. So his free throw percentage seems to be dropping as we went from 30 to 40. Downward trend here. And as we go back to our chart here on the StatsMedic, we have to say, well, okay, we fluctuated and we were pretty solidly in the 60% range. So if you're guessing that his free throw percentage is in the 60s, you know, you're probably correct. Somewhere in the 60s, probably. And we were at 60, then we went to 65, 66, 62.5. Let's take a look at the graph. Yeah, 62.5. So, well, what is his true free throw percentage? Do you feel confident it's 62.5? Do you think it's something else? Or would you like to see more free throws? Okay, we'll go ahead and fast forward a few of his free throws here. We'll see where we end up. 49 and 50. He's 32 for 50. 32 for 50. Uh, 32 of 50 is 64%. So his free throw percentage seems to be coming up just slightly. Maybe where we were with a bad patch over there between 30 and 40 brought his free throw down. But now we're back up to 60%, which is right in line with 65, 66, and 64. Let's take a look at the first 50 free throws on the chart. And yeah, there's that upward trending that we were talking about. So now he's back at 65%. Do you think 65 is his actual free throw percentage? Let's go back and get to 70. I'm sorry, we'll get to 60. 59 is a miss, and 60, he made that one. So he's at 39 of 60. 39 of 60. Let's take a look at the chart for the first 60 free throws. 39 for 60. There's that upward rise that we were talking about, and a little bit of a dip over here. 39 of 60 is 65% approximately. So right now we're at about 65%, 39 for 60. Right around 65%. So taking a look at the numbers here, notice how they're in line again. 65, 66. I don't know if 62.5 is an anomaly, but 64, 65 seems to be greatly settling down. Could we stop the video here and say that his actual free throw percentage is 65%? Would that feel comfortable to you? Do you think it's going to change drastically from 65%? Okay, let's watch the next few free throws. 70. There we go. 45 of 70. 45 of 70. I don't know what percentage that is, but I'm sure once I get to my spreadsheet, we'll see that. 45 of 70 is 64.3%. 64.3. Is that in line with the rest of the numbers? Do you think that that's his true free throw percentage? Do you think there's going to be a drastic change in that 64.3% as we continue? Would a drastic change be something that you would see based on the trend line that we're seeing here? Do you expect to see a big dip? Would you expect to see a big raise? And then let's go all the way to 80 next. There we go. He's 50 of 80. 50 of 80, and it looks like his percentage is going to go down a little bit. Let's get to 80. And at 80, yeah, just a small dip over here in the percentage. Looks like he is down to 62.5. Okay, so now the numbers are kind of trending southward again at 62.5. That is no longer in line with the ones that we were seeing. And I think what we'll do is we'll just fast forward to 100 now and see where that gets us. All right, last few of them, we're at 97, 98, 99, and at 100, he made 100. So that is 65 out of 100. Back over here, 65 out of 100. For a 65%. So based on what you're seeing here, what do you think Nick's true free throw percentage is? Now, there's no right or wrong answer here. There are, or let me rephrase that. There are no right answers here. There are wrong answers. Like you would not say that his true free throw percentage is 100%, nor would you say it's 50%. Those answers are flatly wrong. Based on what we're seeing here, you're probably best off picking some number somewhere between, I don't know, 62 and maybe 65. 62 and 65. I don't know. Let's just say it's 64%. Okay? And it says, make a sketch of the graph displaying the proportion of made free throws. And luckily for us, I went ahead and I made a chart. There's his last 10 free throws right over here. You can see is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 makes. Made 6 of his last 10. And here's our free throw percentage versus attempts. We'll just copy and paste that over. So I feel pretty confident about this 64%. And I probably could have felt confident about that 64% right around 20 and 30 free throws, right? So you probably could have said 65%, and you wouldn't have been terribly off after, 20, 30 free throws. But how can we get that more accurate? Okay, closer to the true percentage. And the only way probably to make this more accurate is to shoot more free throws. Shoot, observe more. Okay, and if we shot more free throws, we would see something that is more closer to the actual free throw percentage. So what do we say? Ferreira has a 64% free throw percentage, and interpret that probability. Well, this means that if Mr. Ferreira shot many free throws, the percentage of made free throws would approach 65%. And of course, it wasn't Mr. Ferreira who's doing this. This was Nick. So if Nick Edson shot many free throws, the percentage of made free throws would approach 65%. If he shoots 1 or 2 free throws, it's kind of unpredictable about what's going to happen. But if he shoots, 30 free throws, then that's where we would get that 65% or 64% is what we said over here. Okay. So percentage probability has to do with a long-term frequency, which is what we're saying here. Probability is a long-run relative frequency, and long run means, more than 30, more than 50, a lot of outcomes. A probability is a number between 0 and 1. We interpret it as a percentage by multiplying by 100, but that's all middle school math. I'm sure you're all familiar with that already. In the short term, probabilities are unpredictable. So, in the short run, maybe after 3 games, you will shoot 100% after 3 free throws, 100%. But in the long term, it is predictable. Your percentage will settle down to the true percentage, down to that 64% that we were talking about. This is where we get to the law of large numbers. Whatever happens, if we do it many times, the proportion of desired outcomes will approach its probability. And if you know what that probability is, you can write it there optionally. This law of large numbers context here, that is in the sentence frames worksheet that we have on our class notebook. So let's see if we understand this. Pedro drives along the same route to work Monday through Friday. His route includes 1 traffic light. According to the local traffic department, there is a 55% probability that the light will be red when Pedro reaches a light. Interpret that probability. So if Pedro gets to that light many times, 55% of the time the light will be red. Probability is a measure of how likely something is to occur. So let's match each one of these with a statement. The outcome is impossible. It'll never occur. That is a 0% chance. Okay. Or I don't even know if that's going to be 0. Yeah, 0. The outcome is certain. It's going to happen at every trial. That's 100% or 1. The outcome is very unlikely. but it will occur once in a while in a very long sequence of trials. Okay, very unlikely. Very unlikely means we're looking at a number close to 0. So that is 0.0001. 30% or 0.3, that is a low number, but it is not a extremely low number or very unlikely, a very low number. And letter D, the outcome will occur more often than not. So I don't know which of those two we would want to pick, but I'm going to pick 99%. So more often than not, the outcome is going to recur. 60% also, that would work as well, but I feel safer with 99. So the closer you are to 1, the more likely it is that an outcome is going to occur in the long run. Okay. A husband and wife decide to have children until they have at least one child of each sex. The couple has 7 girls in a row, and their doctor assures them that they are much more likely to have a boy next. So, explain why the doctor is wrong. So we do know that if the couple has many, many children, then about 50% of them are going to be boys. But since we're only looking at one pregnancy, okay, that probabilistic outcome is unpredictable. Okay, the best we could say is it's going to be 50-50. So it's kind of like the universe doesn't owe you a boy just because you've had 7 girls in a row. Probability doesn't remember the last thing that happened. Like just because the last pregnancy ended up with a girl doesn't mean that the next one is going to be ended up with a boy. The universe doesn't owe you a thing. Okay, it's unpredictable in the short run. And the only time you see that 50% probability is if you have many, many outcomes. So that's our first look at probability. Hopefully things look good to you. Things are what you expected them to be with probabilities. And remember, probability describes a long-run behavior. It doesn't describe what happens in the short term. So with that, I'll see you guys later at the next one.